The following is a live copyrighted presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time now for RadioLawTalk.com with your host, Frederick Penny, attorney at law. And now, RadioLawTalk.com.
Welcome to Hour 3 of the Alien Show, or better known as Radio Law Talk. Sometimes we do talk about alien things, and I enjoy that. Hour 1, we discussed how this is the most exciting and entertaining and informative radio show on the earth, in our opinion, other than the alien shows late at night when you're driving. Isn't that true?
I agree. I concur.
You concur, Denise?
I don't know, because I haven't listened to the alien shows.
Cal, do you concur on that one?
She's totally missing out.
You concur on alien shows.
You got it. You got it.
If you listen to those alien shows, you're going to know why the pyramids were built. Okay,
okay.
You'll know why there's pyramids all over the place. You'll understand everything about
Stonehenge.
Sure.
And you'll know why you got the big, huge things in the corn. You know, the big spaceships that land. It's not the farmer driving around.
Why the moon does not spin around, and the whole colony on the dark side of the moon that we can't see, and then the planet X Nibiru that's out there that is going to come here.
Don't forget gray people. Don't forget the gray people.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
855 Law Radio. If you are an alien, call in. If you're an alien and need some specimens, we've got Todd and me, Fred and Todd. Don't take Denise; she's too sweet. So we're a little bit. You can taste the sour. Cal, if you want to see what
I've already been abducted so many times. They already know me very well.
He broke the probe.
I mean, I don't know how painful that can be.
He's taken by aliens every time he does the drive-through up in Shasta County.
Exactly
up there.
right.
What's that drive-through called? Oh yeah, the dispensary drive-through.
Whoa, those aliens, man!
I saw this cartoon the other day. It was the aliens on their ship circling around Earth, and they said, well, hold on a second. Last month they were lobotomizing a pumpkin. This month they're shoving stuffing up a turkey's butt. I don't think we need to go down there.
Nice.
Okay, let's talk about.
Tweet us at Radio Law
Come on,
Talk.
that's what got us going.
We're going to talk about Apple changing security. Maybe it's to help criminals out. We're not saying that that's the purpose, but it's going to probably help some criminals out. We're going to talk about Southwest Engine, the failure. The lawsuits are rolling in now. We're going to talk about the Supreme Court's affirming some cell phone privacy rights. We're going to get into that. And most important, we're going to talk about case or no case, because guess what? Doggone it, Cal nailed us the first
Oh, he got all
hour.
three
All
of
three of us.
us.
He had a fake one. Now let's see if he can do another fake one. 2 in a row fake ones. Cal, roll. Case or no
All right,
case.
here we
Now
go.
it's time to play Case or No Case.
Call in 855 Law Radio if you want to be part of case or no case. Nobody ever calls in for case or no case because I think they're worried about Cal stumping them too and them not looking good.
Yes, and remember, no wagering, but
we don't wager.
If you win, you
Hey,
get
take the dollar off the table.
No. If they call in, we hand them a mug or a shirt.
They get a prize.
Yeah.
So here's our case. I'm going to take you now to the great state of Nebraska. Omaha, Nebraska is where this case was filed, where a woman was driving a Winnebago, and she was driving along and put the Winnebago on cruise control, and then went to the back of the Winnebago to fix a sandwich.
Is this a Tesla Winnebago?
This was actually in the 1990s. The Winnebago crashes. She survives, and she sues Winnebago because the instruction manual does not specify that cruise control is not autopilot. And so we go from there. So, Denise, I think we should start with you this time. So, Denise, case or no case? And if so, what was the result?
What's the name of the woman?
I don't know.
She's trying to cross-examine him.
I was effective on last week on that. Okay, well, this is what I think.
It's Edith something, but I can't remember.
It's
her last
actually
name.
a failure to warn issue that she's claiming that they failed to warn her that it was not autopilot. Which,
as silly as it may sound.
yes.
Right.
Okay. I'm going to say that it is a case. Oh, you just smiled.
I'm happy when you're right. I'm also happy when you're wrong.
I know, that's the problem. Okay, I'm going to say that it back in the we just said it was 1990?
1990, yeah, 1991 or 92, somewhere in there. Yeah.
90s, okay, got it.
Before such a thing as autopilot was on somebody's drawing board, I guess would be the point.
You're stalling, Denise.
I totally am stalling because there was no autopilot back then. It's not a case.
Okay, not a case, she says.
Okay, no case.
Go to me. I'm ready for
case
this.
or no case?
Okay, this is the way I'm doing. I'm opining. Okay. The first one that you brought up in the first hour, those of you who didn't listen, was very intelligent. It's very not only intelligent, but it was
detailed.
It was detailed, but it was nicely said. It was very persuasive.
Well written, put together persuasively.
It was so persuasive,
yeah.
and that was a no case. This one is a little disheveled. It's way off the wall. You don't have all the details. It's a trick. This is clearly a case. I know this is a case. This is a case. And because it's so off the wall, it's funny. Because that's the book you read when you're sitting in the bathroom. And I think this is a case. She loses due to the fact that she just I don't know why, but I have absolutely no legal theory of why she loses, but she loses.
Well, do you have a legal theory of why she filed?
No, I have no legal theories at all on this issue. The answer is it's all speculation going off Cal's. So a case, and she loses.
Never mind the merits of the story.
Who cares about the merits of the law? I'm trying to just beat Cal.
Oh, no.
Go, Todd.
Mr. Koenig, case or no case?
All right. Warning label on a washing machine. Drains at high speeds. Do not put any person in this washer. Warning label on a hairdryer. Do not use while sleeping. Warning label on a hair curler or those hair straighteners. Do not use on eyelashes. Okay?
Well, that's a good warning.
Now, look, these things are out here because there are stupid people. There's just no other way. And as Ron White, my favorite comedian, says, you can't fix stupid. All right? So do I think that there is a case where a woman, it wasn't autopilot, it was just cruise control, set her Winnebago to cruise control and went in the back to make a sandwich? Absolutely, I think that happened. I absolutely think that happened, and this is a case.
Yes.
And given the, I could just see the court going, ma'am, what?
It's improper. What? Yeah, the judge is where this probably was. He was saying, what?
I'm going to say she gets nothing. I'm going with Fred on this one.
Okay, Cal.
She gets nothing.
Let's do it before the end of the hour. Before the break. I'm excited about this.
Nope, I'm going to hold it over because I want people to listen through the break and have a reason to come back.
Well, I want people in the break to think about this. I want someone to call in. I know people are not case or no case.
Okay, I'm going to wrap this up. What? If anybody calls in during the break, in addition, regardless of your answer, you're going to get a Radio Law Talk T-shirt, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, and I'll throw in a $20 bill. Anybody who calls in.
No, we can't do that. Is that legal for us to do?
I don't think it
That's
is.
not legal. We can't give them money.
Well, how did I? No, I said regardless of their answer.
No, we're not going to give them $20.
He didn't say it was a real $20 bill.
We can't. Oh, no, just a shirt.
Yeah, you should have said $20.
How did Rodriguez get away with that?
He didn't give him money.
I know, but he made the offer. Somebody had to give him money.
We're probably doing things wrong. Who knows? We're lawyers. Okay, Cal, so it is the Winnebago that has cruise control going. She's back making a sandwich. I think it's peanut butter and jelly, by the way. And she sues Winnebago saying that, doggone it, you didn't warn me that my Winnebago would crash while I'm back there. She was probably back playing music very similar to the music we play. So
probably.
We're going to be right back after this and know the case or no case answer. And I hope Cal does not stump us again. This is Fred Penny saying it, second time. There's no way this has got to be a real case. It's so off the wall.
Stick around. We'll have the answer for you coming up right here on Radio Law Talk at RadioLawTalk.com.
All advertising legal services on Radio Law Talk are for California legal services only. Business needs growth to survive, and Accelerate You is in the business of growing your business. Accelerate You gets it. They have sales professionals, real top talent teams. Accelerate You has venture capitalists, and Accelerate You has strategic partners who roll up their sleeves and help you grow your business. It's what they do. They help people in business just like you. In fact, last year, Accelerate You launched 30 successful go-to markets for startup companies. With success like that, you can see why Accelerate You is able to only work with a select group of companies, perhaps yours. If you want to increase revenue for your business, call 916-BETTER-0. That's 916-237-7370. 916-BETTER-0. Come on, grab the phone. Make the call. Accelerate You. 916-BETTER-0. Again, call 916-BETTER-0 for Accelerate You.
My name is Frederick Penny of Penny & Associates Injury Lawyers. I've assembled an excellent team of highly experienced personal injury trial lawyers. We understand the other side, which gives us a distinct advantage over our competition. At Penny & Associates, we will aggressively represent you and your family when someone has been injured in an accident. Remember, we don't get paid unless we win.
For a free initial consultation, go to pennylawyers.com or call 1-800-616-4LAW and ask for Frederick, Stuart, Rob, Kevin, Kent, or Will. That's Frederick Penny at Penny & Associates Injury Lawyers, 1-800-616-4LAW.
This is Denise Sturks. We can represent clients in divorce, legal separation, child and spousal support, custody, termination of parental rights, step-parent adoptions, guardianships, and even conservatorship matters. Call 1-877-886-7186 for a consultation.
The law offices of Denise L. Dirks provide family law services in Northern California. When the law affects your family, call 877-886-7186. The family of attorneys at Denise L. Dirks is here to help.
Since 1960, Iceberg Drive-In has been a family favorite for not only our famous thick shakes with unlimited delicious flavor combinations, but also our hand-breaded onion rings, delicious fries, and signature fry sauce. The Iceberg Shake Shop is perfect for high-traffic locations such as busy strip malls, recreational amusement centers, or near theaters. We are seeking qualified franchisees in the western United States. You'll have access to not only the popular Iceberg Drive-In name, but also our procedures, buying power, and operations. Plus, receive support dedicated to your success. For more information, email franchise@icebergdrivein.com or visit our website at icebergdrivein.com.
Looking for a full day of fun for the family? You can't beat spending your day or evening at Golfland Sunsplash in Roseville, the premier family entertainment destination for all of Northern California. Pick from one of two adventure-themed 18-hole mini golf courses, then get challenged on our fast car racetrack. Don't miss Golfland's state-of-the-art laser tag arena, laser nights, and over 200 arcade games. The best in family entertainment, now at Golfland Sunsplash in Roseville. Golfland.com.
Hi, I'm Frederick Penny of Penny & Associates Injury Lawyers. I bet you're tired of hearing lawyer commercials, so just relax and listen to music for a few seconds. When you or a family member has been injured, call 800-616-4LAW or see us at pennyandassociates.com. See, that wasn't so bad.
What makes great jerky? Jerky that's moist, tender, and perfectly seasoned. And if you're looking for moist, tender, flavorful jerky, don't look anywhere else but River City Jerky Works. Only the finest ingredients and top quality meats are used in the preparation of River City Jerky. Do yourself a favor and order your River City Jerky Works jerky by going to their website, rivercityjerkyworks.com. River City Jerky Works. One bite and you'll be hooked. Quite possibly the best jerky on the planet.
Go to the website, radiolawtalk.com. You can listen to the show there, and there's a lot of other good information, too. That's radiolawtalk.com.
All right, Cal, we're doing case or no case, and Todd and I are crossing our fingers, and Denise is crossing hers, hoping that we're wrong, but do a brief overview really quick again, and then tell us what happens.
Well, our premise here is that a woman drives a Winnebago, decides to set the cruise control, goes in the back to make a sandwich, thinking cruise control means autopilot. The Winnebago drifts off the freeway, rolls over onto its side, and crashes. No permanent injuries, but that was the premise of the case. Now, let's ask some really simple questions here. How many of you said this was not a case.
Oh, man.
Was not a case.
Oh, yes!
This is one of those stories that made its way around the world as a lawsuit where people said, look at the stupid justice system in America. Look at these dumb cases people file. And it turns out that Winnebago and every major motorhome manufacturer got call after call, people saying, is this really true? Does this really happen? And it never happened. It was a story that they could not shake. It was one of those goofy stories that just echoed around the world. It was repeated by major news outlets, but it was a fake story.
So you know what I was thinking when I changed my mind and said it's not a case? I was thinking that Fred was the one that challenged you to have 2 no cases, and that Fred is back, and you were so challenged.
I wonder if our listeners were on our side, Todd's side, my side, or your side, Denise. I don't know.
What I find interesting is that the score, that Denise and Fred are now tied at 43 points.
And Todd's still at 45.
And he didn't get anything off of that case, and he's got 47.
What did they get last for the first hour?
Zeros.
Nothing, none of
I
us.
skunked
All
you
of us?
guys.
You skunked all of us?
We got skunked on the first one. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Todd, I'm coming up.
Yeah, my whole focus has been to hold off Fred.
Lemon bars on their way. Lemon bars.
Keep that focus to hold off Fred and
My wife is
ignore
even
me.
here today. She said, should I bring him? And I said, not till somebody gets to 100. But you know, the way this is going. But congratulations, Denise. Way to go.
Thank
You're
you.
the only person who got points on case or no case today. And they were both phony cases that, but one made up very nice, and the other one so disheveled because I got to throw you guys a curveball in the way I present them.
Oh, my gosh. I can't win for losing now. I used to be so good at it. And Denise, you were just struggling for a while.
Yeah. Well, I'm starting to get, just listen to my intuition.
Except on the first one.
Except on many of them.
All right, let's talk about
case or no case.
We got to talk about Apple. Yeah, thanks, Cal. Good job. Doggone it. Apple to close. I could see me in court. Todd and I in court. Your Honor, I'd like to say the following. Excuse me, sir. You lose, Todd Cunin. You've lost at case or no case every week. Your objection is not founded.
Wouldn't that be funny?
No. What I'm worried about is if ever I have to testify, like heaven forbid I ever have to testify as an expert witness on anything, and then the defense, the opposing side's going to come on and say, you on a radio show called Radio Law Talk? Yeah, we'd like to play a clip here. They have me. Here's
Food goes in here.
Absolutely a case, and this is what happened. And ketchup isn't a smoothie, and whatever.
No, they're going to use the one. Food goes in here.
Food goes in here.
That's pretty expert testimony, though.
Our careers are sunk. Radio Law Talk stalls and stays in neutral, doesn't grow anymore, and our careers are sunk because of it. Nice. Fred, then it's this. Lawsuit against Fred Penny by Denise Turks, Cal Hunter, Todd Cunin, and Chris Rodriguez.
That'd be funny.
Oh, my gosh. All right, let's talk about Apple's is close. The iPhone, they're going to close the security hole that the law enforcement used to crack the devices. And on the same thing, we're jumping on and talking about the Supreme Court affirms privacy rights of cell phone users in Big Brother cases. Let's first talk about the Supreme Court affirmation of these privacy rights.
Love that.
Let's go for that. Go ahead, Denise.
I really like that. So the Justice Department was really advocating that they had the right to use location services of different people in their surveillance activities, and also the police officers were also using such services by the cell phone towers and all of that to locate people, to follow them, to survey them. And the Supreme Court said that that is no longer going to be allowed, that you have to have a subpoena in order to a warrant in order to do these types of searches, because people have the right of privacy to their cell phone data. And they've decided that even though the cell phone data is housed with third parties, at different networks or different areas or up in the cloud, right? Yeah. And that they didn't lose their right of privacy and all of that the right for not to be searched and seized without a warrant. There we go.
That's true. You know, one of the things to look at, for example, when we're talking about law enforcement being able to see something that they argue is in the open domain, so to speak. Now, I have not read this opinion, but I think I would be surprised if this logic was not in the opinion.
You mean the full opinion?
In the full opinion of the Supreme Court. So let's say a cop is walking by your house, okay, and you're in your front yard engaged in illegal activity, and the cop goes to arrest you for that. Well, it's because you're engaged in activity where anybody walking by could see that. Now let's go ahead and say that you're in your backyard and you have 20-foot fences all around that nobody can look in, and the cop climbs up a telephone pole and looks over into your yard. The cop's going to have a harder time proving that because the argument's going to be, you're not in a place where the average public would be. And so where I think this kind of comes over here is, sure, you have third-party apps that use all this stuff and you do that, but how does the average person get to that? How does the average person doing whatever get to any of that data? It's encrypted enough, it's private enough such that if it's being held by, it's not public data, clearly, it's not published out there, that law enforcement would have to get a warrant. It's not in the same plain view aspect.
Well, what's something interesting also about this, it sounds like, whoa, it passed, it's great. It was a 5-4, so it was very, very close.
Yes, and it's really interesting that in the dissent, Kennedy dissented.
Yeah.
His dissent was important.
We're going to pick this up for a little bit?
Yep, we're going to talk more about it when we come back at, we're bottom of the hour.
Hey, tweet us at Radio Law Talk.
You're listening to Radio Law Talk on RadioLawTalk.com and your favorite radio station.
All advertising for legal services on Radio Law Talk are for California legal services only. Business needs growth to survive, and Accelerate You is in the business of growing your business. Accelerate You gets it. They have sales professionals, real top talent teams. Accelerate You has venture capitalists, and Accelerate You has strategic partners who roll up their sleeves and help you grow your business. It's what they do. They help people in business just like you. In fact, last year, Accelerate You launched 30 successful go-to markets for startup companies. With success like that, you can see why Accelerate You is able to only work with a select group of companies, perhaps yours. If you want to increase revenue for your business, call 916-BETTER-0. That's 916-237-7370. 916-BETTER-0. Come on. Grab the phone. Make the call. Accelerate You. 916-BETTER-0. Again, call 916-BETTER-0 for Accelerate You.
This is Denise Sturks. We can represent clients in divorce, legal separation, child and spousal support, custody, termination of parental rights, step-parent adoptions, guardianships, and even conservatorship matters. Call 1-877-886-7186 for a consultation.
The law offices of Denise L. Dirks provide family law services in Northern California. When the law affects your family, call 877-886-7186. The family of attorneys at Denise L. Dirks is here to help.
My name is Frederick Penny of Penny & Associates Injury Lawyers. I've assembled an excellent team of highly experienced personal injury trial lawyers. We understand the other side, which gives us a distinct advantage over our competition. At Penny & Associates, we will aggressively represent you and your family when someone has been injured in an accident. Remember, we don't get paid unless we win.
For a free initial consultation, go to pennylawyers.com or call 1-800-616-4LAW and ask for Frederick, Stewart, Rob, Kevin, Kent, or Will. That's Frederick Penny at Penny & Associates Injury Lawyers, 1-800-616-4LAW.
I'm going to Quick Quack Car Wash. Get my car washed, make it quick, quack, pretty, shiny, sexy, just because I want to. Don't drive dirty. Going to get my car suds at the Quick Quack Car Wash. It's the Quick Quack, quickest and the cleanest by far. We're talking 3 skinny minutes sitting right in your car wash. 100 feet of cloth, washing your car at the Quick Quack Car Wash. Any Honda, Mazda, Ford, or Chevy, Sauber, Cadillac, Quick Quack will spruce her up just like that. You'll be happy looking snappy. You'll be glad you was at the Quick Quack car wash. Get on the web and go to don'tdrivedirty.com and see where you got your closest Quick Quack in the local area. Get in your car, get in your truck, get on the road, come visit the duck at the
Quick Quack Car Wash, where your car will always leave happy, guaranteed. They take pride in being clean and green by conserving and recycling the water they use only at the
Quick Quack Car Wash. Quick Quack.
When you were a little kid and you thought about what you wanted to be, teaching was at the top of your list. But things changed. And as you got older, teaching didn't seem like the best option anymore. So you're thinking you'll be something else. But what would your 12-year-old self say? Now you want to be a doctor. You don't think teachers save lives? 25 at a time. An actress? Try playing a different role every time the bell rings. How about a scientist? Ever heard of physics? Chemistry? Who do you think teaches that? Teachers today are breaking down obstacles, finding innovative ways to instill old lessons, and taking learning far beyond the four walls of the classroom. It's time to recognize that great things are happening in teaching and put it back on your list. Don't try to convince yourself otherwise. You had it right the first time.
Find out how you can make more at teach.org. Make more. Teach. Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
I am a veteran. I lost both legs in Vietnam.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
My victory was getting my benefits and a good education.
DAV helps veterans of every generation get the benefits they've earned.
I'm a veteran. I didn't want to admit it, but I have PTSD.
So veterans can reach victories, great and small.
My victory was finding help and learning that I wasn't alone.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
180 over 111, and I had a stroke.
145 over 92, and then I had a heart attack.
150 over 90, and I had a stroke.
This is what high blood pressure sounds like. You might not feel its symptoms, but the results from a heart attack or stroke are far from silent. Get back on your treatment plan or talk with your doctor to create a plan that works for you. Go to loweryourHBP.org.
Everything's
brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
You're listening to RadioLawTalk.com. And now back to your host, Frederick Penny.
So we're talking about interesting issues about cell phones, and we're talking about the 5-4 split with the Supreme Court affirming privacy rights for cell phone users. But there's some interesting issues on dissent that we were discussing. Todd, you brought up the thing about the helicopter we talked about. Who was dissenting about brought the helicopter example up?
That was Justice Gorsuch, just in his dissent when he's talking about privacy rights and in this one case that they had cited cats. And apparently in that case, the Supreme Court had held, and in cases that follow that, had held that a helicopter hovering 300 feet over somebody's house does not implicate a privacy right. And then Gorsuch said, yeah, try that one out on your neighbors. Which is true, because look at all of the rules that have been promulgated in question about privacy with drones.
Right.
You set up a drone, your neighbor's going to freak out if the drone is looking into their backyard or something like that. But, you look at this case and everything that comes down with it about third-party apps that deal, or the third parties that deal with this information. And at first blush, you think, okay, here's the way that this sort of cell phone information typically works and what people would think of. Next to the cell phone towers, and you see the cell phone towers on the side of the roads and other places, but there's usually a small building right next to the cell phone tower, and that's the hub, because that is where all of the information goes. And I've seen cases, for example, I've seen murder cases, something happens in one jurisdiction, and they're trying to prove that the guy is there, and they get the cell phone tower information, and shortly after the murder, they're able to see that this person is on their phone making calls after the murder occurred, and the signal's pinging off all of the cell phone towers from the place where the murder occurred to their house that's 40 miles away. And so it's pretty easy to see, okay, this is the direction of travel that the individual was occurring, and they rely on this. But here's something that people don't realize. So I am opening up my iPhone 10 right now, my iPhone X, and I am going to settings, and now I'm going to come down to the privacy tab. And when I come to the privacy tab, the first thing that comes up is this thing called location services, and it says on. And when I click that, I have, look at this here, a whole list of apps on my phone, all of which use location services. And as you can see in my phone, there's a lot, everything from Target to Zillow to USPS to my son's elementary school, all use these location services. Any one of those apps can be used to give law enforcement your location.
But if you turn off the location services before you commit the crime, then you may not be able to be located.
You might not be able to locate it, but people don't realize that. Not that I'm educating people as to how to commit crimes or do things, but I would think that the last person people would think about before they go, okay, we're going to go rob the Quickie Mart. Okay, yeah, turn off location services on your iPhone. That's just the last thing they think about.
Usually they're saying this.
Yeah.
Turn it off. Go ahead.
Except that if you make a phone call, the cell towers will still allow some triangulation because they can ping, at least get an approximate location that way.
That's true.
But my point is this, that they think that the triangulation of the cell phone has to do with if you're making a phone call, they can find it.
Oh, no.
My point is with the location services, if you have it selected so that the location services is always on some app that you don't need, like a Craigslist app, and it's always on, they can get into that app and find out where you were even if you never picked up the phone.
Yes, but now they can only do it if they have a warrant.
That's right.
Okay, so this case involved Timothy Carpenter. I just want to do the background facts.
Sure.
He was arrested for being part of a store robbery gang in Michigan and Ohio, and he and a co-conspirator were convicted in part after police obtained the archived cell phone records showing him near the scene of the crimes, plural. Nearly 13,000 so-called location points from 6 months of Carpenter's movements were obtained without a warrant. So he was being surveilled for 6 months. That's a lot.
So we jump from that case, and then we jump to the next. Go ahead. You want to talk?
I want to talk about Justice Kennedy because the dissent was Justice Kennedy, Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, and Neil Gorsuch. And Justice Kennedy was warning people, saying in his dissent, the court's new and uncharted course will inhibit law enforcement and keep defendants and judges guessing for years to come, because he feels like this is such a tentative, ruling in essence that the law's not going to be able to keep up with the technologies is what I really think he's saying.
But is the issue that if you're out there doing it that they can't surveil you live because can't they get a warrant and come back and do a history on your location?
Well, that's where the next the answer
so how's
is
that a big thing?
Well, that's where the next issue comes up. Apple is closing its security hole so the FBI, even if it gets a warrant or the police, cannot get that information without a password. The friction all kind of came out after the FBI couldn't access an iPhone of a gunman who, along with his wife, killed 14 people in San Bernardino, California in 2015.
Yes, I remember that case.
So the federal judge ordered Apple to figure out how to open the phone, prompting Apple's CEO to respond with this long, drawn-out letter that basically said, we have our phone users have this right to privacy. And there's this fight that occurred. So, but what happened is the government just quickly went around it, and there's two companies, and how they went around it. There's two companies called, let me see the name of the company. Oh, Celebrite and Grayshift, that they can pay for this program that somehow plugs into the phone, and it goes back and it can basically open the phone and get the information. And that's what the government's using now. And now we're going to talk about, and Apple's like, whoopsie, we're now going to start making it a little bit tighter.
This technology went where it just had this technology where it would keep doing different types of passwords until it unlocked the phone.
And so what Apple was saying, one of the things that Tim Cook for Apple was saying is, we can't go and get in. We've encrypted this. We can't go in, especially if you're using a 6-digit password as opposed to a 4-digit password. We have difficulties even getting in and doing that. It's not like we have the ability to turn this over. And then when the government found out how to get into the phone, Apple, interestingly enough, contacted the government and said, hey, could you tell us how you did that? And the government at that point said, you weren't cooperating us. No, we're not going to tell you how we got into your phone. Then Apple was able to reverse engineer it and figure it out because, I think at the end of the day, whoever did figure it out, There was no restraining order precluding them from telling, and I bet you they got paid a lot of money to figure that out.
They did. They got paid
how to do that.
$1.3 million.
And then Apple went in and included a security loophole. And the problem with it was an Apple iPhone will usually shut off after a certain number of attempts to enter the password.
That's the new technology.
And so the ability, that was the problem they had before, but there was a way that they could bypass that so they could just enter password after password after password and not have the phone shut down. And now Apple has
closing that gap. You know what's interesting? Grayshift, who the government hired, that company to be able to break these phones open, is a former Apple engineer that engineered this break-in system in 2016. So, it's dueling engineers is what it is.
So what happens now is that after so many attempts are made at getting the password entered, the phone will lock and it will actually close down, and no data can be accessed at all from that phone.
Apple also has the remote wiping of a phone so that if your phone is lost, you can enter in a code to have your phone wiped. I would be curious to know, since you mentioned that Grayshift was a former Apple employee,
yes,
if he has any sort of liability for, I don't know, using trade secrets or anything he learned at Apple and is now competing with to try to destroy the technology. I don't know that Apple would win, but I don't know that would preclude the lawsuit from coming his way if this guy is now making a lot of money basically showing people how to undo Apple's technology.
But I don't think Apple has a patent on its password system. I think a lot of phones have that same type of technology.
I think that Apple has enough of their own security. Like, it's more than a simple password. And I wouldn't be surprised if Apple hasn't looked at how do we go after this guy that's undermining our business?
Well, remember we talked about the fact that police could make you put your fingerprint on to open your phone, but they could not make you enter your password? Remember that? We had that
we had
last
that
year, some kind of a discussion about that, that it was allowable because the difference is one is an identifying feature on your body, and one is coming from your mind, having to recall the numbers.
Let's briefly go through a couple of facts. Indiana State Police had unlocked 96 iPhones for various cases using the $15,000 device. Really quick, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, officers had paid this Celebrite thousands of dollars to unlock the phones of 5 cases since 2017, including the hazing case at Louisiana State. Manhattan, iPhones, several times they've used it, including 702 times they've unlocked smartphones. And Apple claims that they have helped out since 2013 more than 55,000 requests from the United States government in seeking to open devices. We'll be right back. Our final segment. This is Radio Law Talk. Call us at 8.
You're listening to Radio Law Talk at radiolawtalk.com. Fred, give the number again. I'm sorry, my bad.
855 Law Radio.
Thank you.
All advertising for legal services on Radio Law Talk are for California legal services only.
My name is Frederick Penny of Penny & Associates Injury Lawyers. I've assembled an excellent team of highly experienced personal injury trial lawyers. We understand the other side, which gives us a distinct advantage over our competition. At Penny & Associates, we will aggressively represent you and your family when someone has been injured in an accident. Remember, we don't get paid unless we win.
For a free initial consultation, go to pennylawyers.com or call 1-800-616-4LAW and ask for Frederick, Stewart, Rob, Kevin, Kent, or Will. That's Frederick Penny at Penny & Associates Injury Lawyers, 1-800-616-4LAW.
This is Denise Sturks. We can represent clients in divorce, legal separation, child and spousal support, custody, termination of parental rights, step-parent adoptions, guardianships, and even conservatorship matters. Call 1-877-886-7186 for a consultation.
The law offices of Denise L. Dirks provide family law services in Northern California. When the law affects your family, call 877-886-7186. The family of attorneys at Denise L. Dirks is here to help. Business needs growth to survive, and Accelerate You is in the business of growing your business. Accelerate You gets it. They have sales professionals, real top talent teams. Accelerate You has venture capitalists, and Accelerate You has strategic partners who roll up their sleeves and help you grow your business. It's what they do. They help people in business just like you. In fact, last year, Accelerate You launched 30 successful go-to markets for startup companies. With success like that, you can see why Accelerate You is able to only work with a select group of companies, perhaps yours. If you want to increase revenue for your business, call 916-BETTER-0. That's 916-237-7370. 916-BETTER-0. Come on, grab the phone. Make the call. Accelerate You. 916-BETTER-0. Again, call 916-BETTER-0 for
Hi, I'm Frederick Penny of Penny Associates. I bet you're tired of hearing lawyer commercials, so just relax and listen to music for a few seconds. When you or a family member has been injured, call 800-616-4LAW or see us at PennyandAssociates.com. See, that wasn't so bad.
The cost of getting rid of garbage is high, and recycling products is lucrative. If you're a business or know of a business that needs an individual compactor or baler, call Northwest Compacting at 888-201-0911. If you already have an industrial compactor, baler, or shredder and need service, don't forget to call Northwest Compacting at 888-201-0911. Northwest Compacting, your full-service industrial compacting and baling company. Read more about them at northwestcompacting.com.
I'm going to Quick Quack Car Wash. Get my car washed, make it quick, quack, pretty, shiny, sexy, just because I want to. Don't drive dirty. Going to get my car suds at the Quick Quack Car Wash. It's the Quick Quack, quickest and the cleanest by far. We're talking 3 skinny minutes sitting right in your car. Watch 100 feet of claw, washing your car at the Quick Quack Car Wash. Any Honda, Mazda, Ford, or Chevy, Sauber, Cadillac, Quick Quack will spruce her up just like that. You'll be happy, looking snappy. You'll be glad you was at the Quick Quack Car Wash. Get on the web and go to don'tdrivedirty.com and see where you got your closest Quick Quack in the local area. Get in your car, get in your truck, get on the road, come visit the duck at the
Quick Quack Car Wash, where your car will always leave happy, guaranteed. They take pride in being clean and green by conserving and recycling the water they use, only at the
Quick Quack Car Wash. Quick Quack.
All around the world. This is RadioLawTalk.com.
And now back to the show. Here's Fred, Todd, and Denise.
Enjoying the beautiful weather out here in the West Coast. The three of us sitting in this booth. Actually, we have a really nice studio here. We built
and there's
studio.
air conditioning in there, which is important.
Yeah,
Thank heavens.
Todd, how are the kitties?
Meow. They're doing good. I recently moved my residence, and they have acclimated to the new house. It's a little smaller, so I'm dealing with more cat fur. But
oh my gosh, did you have to do you vacuum? I hope every once in a while.
All the time.
Good.
Yes. I'd look like Huggy Bear if I didn't.
And you're still single.
That will never change. One thing I wanted to say about the.
Wait, are you being prophetic or pessimistic?
All the above.
Pick them. You pick whichever.
I saw you on the billboard the other day in California. I was saying that they've kind of thrown you out. I don't see you anymore, but I saw, boom, there was Todd on the big billboard.
Yep. They re-up for the cycle. So
Is that the one that's on?
That's one in California, Northern California on I-80.
There's a couple.
It's
of
on I-80. I thought it
more,
was on the.
It's more
Capital.
the electronic billboards, so those that can rotate the ads. But one last thing I wanted to say about this warrant issue is that to those that might be thinking, well, oh my gosh, with this decision, is that going to result in an increase of people who commit crimes that get away with those crimes because now the government can't get the cell phone data? And my answer is no. That's not going to happen. All that's really happening here is the court is saying, we're adding another step in terms of what law enforcement has to do. Law enforcement can still go to the carrier and get the information. They just have to get a warrant first. Now, let's take a murder case. All they have to do is go to a judge and say, this person was killed up here, this person is our suspect. They state forth all of their probable cause as to why the person was a suspect, and then the judge is going to look at it and say, okay, the phone might have been used as an instrumentality in the commission of a felony. Here's your warrant. Go ahead and get it. It's not going to result in people getting away with stuff. It's another hurdle for law enforcement, and you know what? They're going to put on their track shoes and hurdle it.
It may not get to the actual messages on the phone that don't get recorded anywhere, but the fact that there was a message made is still going to be in that third-party carrier.
Which they never would get before anyway, because these cell phone towers don't hold the actual messages.
No, but if the guy had access to the phone itself, they would get those messages.
And that's a different issue from what the court was dealing with. The court was dealing with just getting the cell carrier stuff. The Apple issue is about what is on the physical phone. And you know what? If they want to get what's on the physical phone, they're going to have to go ahead and get a warrant. And if Apple's not going to cooperate because of the loophole, then they're going to have to go out and get some other whiz kid, bang up, whatever, to come in and figure out how to bypass this latest thing.
And how to break into the phone and hack into the phone.
It'll all work out, but I don't think anybody's going to get away with crimes they shouldn't otherwise be getting away with because of this decision.
Southwest, when the engine blew on April 17th, the lawsuits are starting to fly in.
No pun intended.
Yeah, no pun intended. But
are you talking about where the engine blew and then the window got blown out?
Yeah, and the lady got pulled out. That's exactly right. So 8 other passengers are now suing and filed a lawsuit in New York against Southwest Airlines, the engine builder. They're also going after the maintenance, whoever did the maintenance, claiming severe mental, emotional, psychological, post-traumatic stress disorder, and physical injuries. Joe Arenas, the husband of the passenger of Cindy Arenas, is also included in the suit as he alleges he suffered loss of consortium of his wife. Was that the lady that was pulled out? I don't recall.
Yes, halfway out.
Yeah, halfway out. Yeah. Uh-huh. So, nope. That's
not Riordan.
Right. No, Riordan. Mm-hmm. Riordan is the one that was pulled out. That's the one that was pulled out.
But, there was only one death in the case.
Yeah.
Yes. Now here's some interesting facts. You want to hear this? This is why do we bring, a lot of stuff we bring up and we talk about these lawsuits, which actually makes us money sitting here, but. Did you know, statistically, that in Southwest history, in their 51-year history, this is the first passenger fatality in 51 years from Southwest? Now, you add up the amount of flights and the people on those flights worldwide every day with Southwest Airlines, and this is the first one in 51 years. Start adding up your auto accidents, and statistically, you're more likely to die in an auto accident than you are in an airline.
So the plaintiff attorney is going to be saying, and because of that, they got complacent. They got lazy. They think they could just waltz in and do all of this, and that's why
no maintenance. And failure to repair.
Cal, as far as so Riordan was the family that got pulled out, or the woman that got pulled out, and her husband. Arenas, Joe Arenas, is the husband of one of the passengers who was on the flight who observed it, and he is claiming loss of consortium because his wife was so stressed out that he is not able to engage in or have any of the expectations from his spouse that he had prior to the flight.
Wow.
Yes.
No, that's a standard thing. But what people don't understand, loss of consortium, everyone thinks it's just due to, and we can say the S word, the sexual relations.
Intimacy.
Intimacy. You can say sexual relations, but what it really does is it also is, it's not just that. It's, my wife used to help me, mow the lawns or wash the dishes. We did it together, and now she doesn't help me. Or we used to go to the movies together, and so it's affected my life because
now she wants to stay home.
Now she wants to stay home and just
doesn't want to go anywhere.
Yeah, depressed or watch it. Yeah, so it's more than that. Everyone thinks that's all it is. It's a huge.
I think it becomes newsworthy because it does, from the layperson looking at it, it does look a bit okay. So here you have a flight. Okay, and tragedy, nobody's contesting that it was a tragic incident occurs on board this flight. And while you would expect the lawsuits to be from the people who were on the flight, the lawsuit you would expect to be from somebody who was not on the flight might have been from the family members of the deceased. And yet with this one, there is a plaintiff who was not on the flight and is not related to the deceased. That just seems a bit odd, and I think it's unique. It seems a bit odd to any layperson looking at that, but for those of us that are in the field, especially Fred, because this is the area of law that he practices, that's not odd at all.
Well, here's the thing you brought up, how the plaintiff's side is going to argue, they didn't do proper maintenance, and was the first time in 51 years. All it takes is one time, and that doesn't mean that there wasn't negligence, that they didn't follow the proper maintenance procedure, that they didn't, maybe it had some issues, the engine they should have seen or did see, was it foreseeable? There's a lot of those issues they're going to get into to determine whether or not, Southwest was negligent in not making sure that this occurrence did not happen, and that's part of the plaintiff's job, and that's the plaintiff's lawyer's job. And again, just because it happened once in the 51 years doesn't mean they're not negligent, right?
Mm-hmm. That doesn't.
So anyway, so that's what's going on. We're going to follow those Southwest Airlines cases as they start pushing through. Here's an interesting one. And now I've handled these type of cases, and these are the cases I handle. So Kellogg's is voluntarily recalling Honey Smack cereal due to possible health risks. Salmonella is what it is, and I have actually handled salmonella cases before. And that, by the way, is a rough thing. The symptoms from salmonella can last quite a while, and it can really cause some damage to your
liver and your kidneys.
And what's interesting about that is it usually starts at the farm, wherever the farm is. But what's more interesting than that, a lot of people don't realize, is everyone gets sued, especially in the state of California, that is down the line. Even if they had nothing to do with it, like, for example, a restaurant that just served it, that received it from a farm, the restaurant's still going to be liable under California law. Everyone down the chain is brought in. Now, it doesn't mean the restaurant can't cross-complain and say, hey, it's the farm's fault. And we talked about this recently with it was the farm down in Southern California and Arizona. I can't
Was
remember.
it the pig farm?
No, it was the lettuce. The lettuce. We talked about the lettuce.
Oh, the lettuce, right.
And so, but Kellogg's is, and I didn't know this also, apparently who makes Honey Smacks is not necessarily Kellogg's. It's a company they hire that's an outside company, a vendor that takes care of them. So they've pulled it all off. They're worried about the salmonella scare. I mean, if you want,
and we want companies to do that. Once they find something's wrong, we want them to voluntarily pull them off.
Thank you, Kellogg's, for trying to help out and help people out that they don't get sick. So we got 30 seconds left. This has been 3 hours. We blow through this 3 hours, no problem. Remember, 9 to noon every Saturday, Radio Law Talk. If your affiliates do not carry us, call them up. I'm Fred Penny, your host. We'll see you next week.
You have been listening to RadioLawTalk.com, a copyrighted presentation of Radio Law Talk Incorporated.